Welcome to Been There, Watch That. We're back again. Your favorite movie and TV reviewers. I'm Justin, here with Joe and Dave. Check out BeenThereWatchThat.com. Joe maintains that website. Gets all our ratings up there. Our rating system is a little nod to our local theater, with a mop bucket being the largest possible popcorn you can get at that theater, and that's our highest rating. That goes all the way down to burnt popcorn for stinkers. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at BTWT reach out with any sort of recommendations, and we'll check out your guys' favorite movies and review them.
Yeah, burnt popcorn, Joe.
This week is Joe's pick. Last week was Dave with Reservoir Dogs, a bit of a whodunit, and we're keeping with that same theme. Clue from 1985.
Yeah, so this week's pick comes from a viewer / listener to the podcast, Bobby Nicholas. So shout out to Bobby for this, and thanks for sending us the list of reviews. So actually today's pick was my turn, but I took it off of Bobby's list. So this week we watched Clue, the 1985 mystery classic.
Yeah, I struggle with the classic.
It's became a cult hit.
Yes, it has become that. And the board game, I would say, resonates with everybody. Everybody at some point, I'm sure, has played Clue. Maybe not this younger generation, but back in my day, Clue was a big board game. It's a fun board game.
How long would it take when you sat down to finish a game of Clue?
Not terribly long.
Maybe I've only played once, but I don't remember.
Yeah, no, it's not like Monopoly long or anything. It's, fairly quick, maybe half hour.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of fun because it changes. So.
And how does it start? You write down something, or somebody writes, or do you roll dice or something to figure out who the murderer is?
Each person's given like 3 cards in an envelope.
Yeah, I remember the little envelope now.
Or no, you put 3 cards in an envelope, and then somehow.
Yeah, that's the person, the place, and the item
and
used.
The weapon, yeah.
So those go in your envelope that you set, and then you have to work through the clues to figure out what's missing.
And then that tells you who and
as you play the game, you can move your person to each room to kind of get clues. I think. Does that seem right?
Yeah, I think so. It's been so long since I've played.
I haven't played it forever either.
Now there is one version that I want to get my hands on, but I just will not pay $40 or $50 for a board game. It's the Office version of Clue.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Was it Dwight in the copy room? Pam in the outback somewhere.
Yeah, it's Pam in the warehouse.
The warehouse, yeah.
With Dwight's stapler.
The Jell-O stapler.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, with this one, Joe, you threw it out there that when the version you're watching at home is different than what was originally released in theaters. Different endings at the end.
Yeah,
which we'll go into.
Yeah, it's really neat. So at the end of the movie, there's basically 3 endings to the movie, and they show you all 3 when you watch now.
Yeah.
But when the movie was originally released, each movie theater got one set of film that had one of the endings, and they would actually advertise, okay, this theater's showing ending A, this theater's showing ending B, and this theater is showing ending C. So you had to actually go to the different theaters to see the different endings. But the same plot, same movie line, but except for the last 5 minutes or so.
In the version I watched, it showed you all 3 endings, and then it ended with, and this is what really happened.
Yeah. So then you're still up in the air on which ending. Basically, you pick your own ending on that.
I saw where it was originally a flop. It was had a $15 million budget and only grossed about $3 million.
Right.
But they had some people, vying for the roles.
Yeah.
I guess they thought it would be a decent movie.
Yeah, the cast on it actually it was a pretty good sized cast as far as a who's who in Hollywood.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Go if you don't care, Joe. Run down the list for us.
Okay. Well, you want me to give the quick synopsis first?
You betcha.
Okay.
Heck yeah, I don't even know why we started to skip that. I blame Justin.
Yeah, blame the adult in the room.
Yeah. Somebody's got to keep us on track, and right now he's failing miserably.
So, Clue, which was originally released in 1985, is a movie about 6 guests are anonymously invited to a strange mansion for dinner, but after their host is killed, they must cooperate with the staff to identify the murderer as the bodies pile up. So the cast is Some of the cast members are Tim Curry, who played Wadsworth. He's been in Rocky Horror Picture Show, Hunt for Red October, and the first movie I remember seeing him in was Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Yep.
I remember him in Hunt for Red October. He did a really good job.
Then next up is Madeline Kahn. She played Mrs. White. And she was in Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles, both Mel Brooks classics. Christopher Lloyd was Professor Plum. Of course, everybody knows him from Back to the Future. Also in Who Framed Roger Rabbit and the Addams Family movies. Michael McKean was Mr. Green. He's featured in Better Call Saul. Martin Mull was Colonel Mustard. Everybody knows him from Roseanne, and I actually forgot about this one. He was in Jingle All the Way, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Colleen Camp was Yvette. She was in Die Hard with a Vengeance and Wayne's World. Bill Henderson played the cop. He's been in Maverick and City Slickers. Jane Weedland, the singing telegram girl, she's been in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And Kelly Nakahara was the cook, and she was in MASH.
Interesting. Well, I, for one, forgot about the secret passages, and that was the most entertaining part for me, I think, is when they started introducing the secret passages.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. That was in the board game, and I forgot all about it. All about the secret passages in the board game.
Right.
Yeah, the whole place takes place in kind of a big, huge, creepy
mansion,
type
yeah.
place with some secret. You push on something and opens up.
Yeah,
Like
and that's,
secret passage.
I just, the mansion itself kind of did remind me of the board game because they had the same, the parlor, the kitchen, the sitting room, the pool room, all that was like, oh, yeah, board game, yeah, got it. And then the first time they used the secret passage, which was a ways into the movie, I was like, oh, that's right. The secret passages. That's how you move around the board game. I forgot all about them.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to picture a board game like Clue because it's such a hard game to put
Yeah.
concept in your mind of going, okay, they could actually make a movie of that.
Yeah.
That they actually did make a movie about Clue.
Yeah, I mean, to take that concept I think I saw in some of the fun facts, they had like 3 different writers that worked on it and they finally got it finished. I mean, in my head, I can see that because how do you look at a board game? Even though this one I feel like is pretty easy to get there for the most part, like easier than like Monopoly.
Yeah.
This board game kind of lends into, yeah, you could do this. It's a possibility. I still think it's hard because there's so many choices in Clue and you kind of work through that but essentially, I mean, there are murder mysteries that are books. There's murder mysteries that are movies. So it's not that far of a stretch.
Right.
Just the concept of having the specific weapons. Every person had access to a weapon. And then having the specific rooms that match the board game. And then having a plot that kind of kept you guessing.
Right.
Is not new. But, so it just had to be a little creative in the writing. But
Yeah, when it comes to video games and board games, for some reason that genre of entertainment are the hardest ones to either A, make a movie of, or B, make a movie of that's worth watching.
Yeah, like the Super Mario movie comes to mind. That was a pretty big stinker, I guess. People
Yeah.
thought that was pretty terrible.
Yeah,
Once you put it people in real life trying to,
yeah,
it doesn't quite work sometimes.
yeah. I remember it because Justin, you and I grew up on playing Super Mario, so
Mhm.
so you remember here's this plumber in the red jumpsuit and a hat and all that, and then you see the movie and it's just like, what is this garbage?
Yeah.
So you have that, and there's like Battleship, and there's all kinds of these movies that go towards video games and board games that
There
are.
was a Battleship movie, wasn't there?
Yes.
Did you ever see that one?
No, I have not seen that one. But for some reason, when it involves video games or board games, I kind of steer clear of it because they kind of have this stench of like you're just going to ruin a good thing.
yeah,
Now, granted, I take
always
it
a
back,
risk.
I think Mortal Kombat has been the only video game to movie dub that actually did well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the first thing I thought of, Justin, was Super Mario as well. I was like, yeah, that one,
Big
that-
flop.
big flop. Although
Mm.
it's weird how movies like that have picked up popularity over the years.
Well, Hollywood's running out of stuff to do.
Yeah,
So right now they're remaking everything,
yeah,
which I think's horrible.
Yeah, I saw where Amazon Prime is doing Coming to America 2
Yeah.
with Eddie Murphy and Arsenio
That's
Hall.
funny you brought that up. I watched like 20 minutes of it this morning just for kicks.
Oh boy.
Okay, so I haven't even watched the first one, but I
It
mean,
said #1 movie in America on the Amazon Prime banner. I was like, no way. I
Really?
watched a little bit of it.
Well, everybody's bored.
there's still people in
The
lockdown
first one's
somewhere.
not bad. It's kind of, it's not a spoof, but it's one of those movies that's kind of like a B-rated movie. It's not bad. You can watch it, but
So it looks like overall this movie almost broke even, or is a little under it, like 15 million to make, and at the end of the day made 14 million.
yeah.
$15 million.
Yeah, and it surprised when I saw those numbers. It surprised me that opening weekend only did a little over $2 million because I thought that maybe advertising alternate endings would draw people out to the theaters. Of okay, I saw Part A, now I need to go see Part B and Part C, and but apparently that didn't work.
It'd be hard to sit through, 90 minutes of movie for a 2-minute ending.
Right.
Yeah, but look at George Lucas films. He'll add 30 seconds of Star Wars and pack a theater.
Now he does.
Yeah.
Back then, probably not. It's changed a little, but now one of the details I did like the like I say, the actual stuff matched the weapons, the rooms, the shortcuts. One of the neat things I thought was the cars that the players arrived in were the same color as their name.
Yeah, I did not pick up on that.
Yep. So, Plum's car was plum colored. Black was black. Red for Scarlet. So pretty neat. Little details they snuck in there. So, was there anything that stood out to you guys character wise?
Well, they're quite a variety of characters. They're all very distinctive.
Yeah.
And, it all starts out with they're kind of picking at each other a little bit, trying to determine what's their backstory, what's their deal.
Yeah.
And
What
everybody's being pretty secretive. but then-
caused them to be there?
Right. Favorite character for me? I don't know. I kind of liked the gay character. What was his?
Oh,
Mr. Green, I think.
Yeah,
Michael McKean.
yeah. Which we find out
In
at
quotes,
the
yeah, gay
that we
character.
find out at the
Yeah.
end. He was married and
I thought he had some funny stuff. What about you guys? Any favorite character from this?
I like Wadsworth. He kept me
Mhm.
entertained.
I think they hit him. He was a home run. I kept waiting for, which I mean, it's a movie, but the lady in the green dress, I can't remember her name, dressed real fancy. Not Miss Peacock, but the other one.
Yeah, Mrs. Green.
Yeah, Miss Green. I kept waiting for her boobs to fall out. They had her running all over the place, and she's in this strapless dress deal, and I was just like, really? They're going to play the sex appeal on that?
They went big with the cleavage in this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There's a
and
lot of cleavage.
Yeah.
Okay, now Yvette the maid. Did you guys catch all the guys just kept staring at her as she would?
oh
walk
yeah,
by?
yeah. Now that's why I say the maid was kind of like the bombshell dropped in that everybody looked at
Yeah.
and kind of had like the maid in the sexy dress, but then you had Mrs. Green who her boobs are about to fall out as she ran back and forth everywhere, and I was like, this movie's got several like spoof things going on here.
Yeah.
Wadsworth, the butler, who took control of the situation across the board. It's not really what a butler does. And then sex appeal of the maid, and then, the whole irony across the board with all the characters,
Yeah, there was-
Professor Plum has an affair, so that's why, he's there. Yeah, really? Anyway, so they didn't get super deep into why they were all being blackmailed or...
It was a kind of funny part where at one point, this person's been murdered and they're all like trying to figure it out, and they decide they're going to get into groups of two and like go searching through this huge, scary mansion. And Yvette, the maid, the bombshell type that you were talking about, all the guys volunteered to be like, we'll
Yeah.
go with her. We'll be her partner for this.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know, just kind of slapstick comedy thrown in with a
What we said before the
mystery.
record, pretty silly
Yeah.
overall. It's a silly movie.
Yeah, the dog poop scene at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that pretty much kind of summed up the humor.
That set the tone.
Yeah.
Which I didn't understand at all. He steps in dog poop. You know, he's a butler, so he scrapes his shoe off and then he walks inside and tracks it everywhere that people notice.
Yeah.
That gave it away right away. He was not a butler
Yeah.
because he didn't have to clean up. I was like, yeah, that dude's not the butler. Good try though.
So we talked about this before the show, and I pretty much summarized this movie up on a Mel Brooks film that you ordered on Wish.com.
Mhm.
Yes, and that is highly accurate.
A little bit of a knockoff, maybe.
Yeah. So if Mr. Brooks himself ever listens to this, or if anyone on his team listens to this, here is a perfect opportunity to sprinkle some Mel Brooks magic. And this was actually one movie I would actually like to see them redo, but have Mel Brooks in charge of it and just knock this one out of the park. 'Cause
Yeah.
I see some potential in this movie.
Did anybody think? Remember Mr. Body, the guy dressed in all black, and he's kind of like the bad guy per se. He's blackmailing everybody else, and he comes in. I thought his accent was really weird. It would like switch from kind of southern to
Yeah.
maybe Eastern European. It was just not sure if that was part of that was supposed to be some sort of thing where he's just faking who he is, so he can't even stick to an accent, or maybe he just really didn't know how to. It was a little weird.
I didn't find any rhyme or reason to that, but yeah.
Yeah.
You say there's a lot of little things like that kind of could have been better, but then again, in the whole context of the movie, I mean, I kept overlooking those things, thinking, well, it's because it's a board game made to a movie, so therefore, that might have been purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a board game, so don't look too hard into it as a movie.
Right.
If that makes sense. Because I kept going back to, well, you're supposed to be figuring out the clues. You're supposed to be trying to solve it. Don't worry about the acting because you're supposed to be solving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get too far on that. I really didn't lock in too much with my clue finding abilities or anything. I wasn't quite sure. But when it was wrapping up at the end, I mean, you could have told me anything happened. I'd be like, okay.
Now, I do have to give him some credit as far as leaving it open-ended enough that it did leave you guessing, because there wasn't really a lot of clues throughout going, yeah, it's because some of these movies, they'll basically do everything but put a sign under it and going, this is him, this is who did it, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So they left that pretty well open-ended. So I got to give them credit on that there wasn't a lot of, oh, it was this person or it was this person throughout.
I agree wholeheartedly. Like, because I was looking at it as a board game where you tried to solve it, but just in the movie form.
Right.
And the
Yeah.
3 possible endings, all of them, I felt like they kept shrouded right up until the very end.
Yes.
Even when the butler was kind of walking through it, I was like, I don't even know where in the hell he's going with these.
Yeah, that's what got me.
You know,
It's just-
I don't know, because he kept saying, well, who wasn't with us? But he wouldn't say it. I was like, I don't remember seeing, because the film jumped back and forth so quick.
Right.
I don't know who was there and who wasn't there, because they
Right,
did a lot
'cause
of close, tight shots.
Well, and they do so many scenes with everybody together that you would just assume that everybody was together the entire time, except for the cook in the kitchen that she died. I mean, when the bodies start piling up, okay, these were people that were left alone, so it makes sense that they died. But it makes you feel like, oh no, it can't be this one because everybody's been together until they actually split up.
Yeah. Well, and they did the power off or turning the lights off here and there.
Yeah.
And that's like, they would turn the power off and it'd be completely dark. But then in the ending scenario, one of them was the power is off. So the one lady, ran through one of the secret passageways over to here and then hit the policeman in the back of the head and drag him into the toilet. And I was just like, it was dark. You couldn't see anything, but yet they could somehow see.
Yeah, first time being in that mansion, she was able to maneuver around and not trip or fall or.
Mm-hmm.
Did the cop get killed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the cop, the singing telegram girl, the cook, Mr. Body, and there's that motorists that broke down coming to use the phones. All those folks all died.
Yeah, met their demise.
Yep.
Yeah, so the singing telegram lady was a Go-Go. The lead guitarist for the Go-Go's.
Really?
Yeah, that was her first film appearance.
Really?
All of like 3
Yeah,
seconds.
3 seconds. But she's shot. Yep.
Yeah, and when she played in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, she was actually Joan of Arc.
Really?
Yes.
Did not know that.
Yeah, when I seen she was in Bill and Ted's, I thought I got to see what she played in, and I thought, well, she's probably some kind of backup role. No, she actually played Joan of Arc in that one.
Was Wadsworth a character in the board game, the original board game? Was he
I'm going to assume. Well, I think there's a butler. Let me look it up here. The clue board game.
You know, I don't know. I don't remember. Good question.
Okay.
Well, while Joe looks that up, so Justin, being of the younger generation here, did it bother you that, like, the old school pistol, the revolver, that, you know, and the old school sound effects? Did any of that play into your ability to watch it? I know it wasn't enough explosions for
yeah.
Joe, but you know.
Yeah, no major shootouts or anything. Overall, I thought, just the picture quality and everything was just so. Wasn't exactly pretty to look at, the color scheme, and yeah. But no, I didn't notice anything about the sound effects that bothered me. It's more just some of the acting here and there, and the general look of it. That was not quite as polished as more recent movies.
Yeah, I thought it was funny where the butler was dragging him around at the end, walking through, and they would just run, And that was part of the screenwriter's, John Landis's deal. He wanted them to have clipped lines to portray somewhat of the board game, so that all the lines were like clipped and quick. Everything was quick and fast. Sprinting from room to room. No lollygagging, just run there, drag somebody here. And I thought the butler did a really good job. Wadsworth did a really good job of that with the characters. Like, he would grab them and spin them around. He'd go kick our legs out from under him. You're down. This is where you got killed. Like he took the one guy. I don't know. Did you guys notice when he took the one gentleman with the glasses and he scruffed him around the neck and said, he dies, and he stuffs him in the restroom. And he comes out with a flush and washing his hands with a towel and hands it to the butler.
I didn't see that.
No, I didn't see that either.
Yeah. So he shoved him in there and said, and then he's shoved him in here. And then, the guy comes out. You hear the toilet flush, and then he wipes his hands on a towel and hands it to the butler as he comes out.
See, that's what I'm saying. This movie could just be a grand slam with Mel Brooks' magic on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was some physical comedy that hit the mark and others that kind of missed a little bit.
Yeah. And some of it was missed terribly. Like, it wasn't even close to being.
At one point, Colonel Mustard just like opens this cabinet and an ironing board just like hits him in the head. And it's something pretty simple, but I thought it was kind of funny at the time. But then other stuff, some of the other stuff had me not so amused.
Okay, now here's one gotcha that I caught. So, supposedly, Wadsworth locks the door and doesn't let anybody leave. Yep, but at the end of the movie, when the singing telegram girl shows up, the door just opens right up and everybody's standing there looking at her. It's like, now time out. If the door was locked,
it opened up for everybody.
Yeah.
The policeman with the Jesus flyer, pretending to.
Yeah.
I mean, the door just opens.
Yeah, it's like, time out. Now, that door was supposed to be locked, and there was no reason to escape, but yet everybody from the outside can just come on in.
Yeah.
Yeah, at one point he had it in his little like vest pocket. He was carrying it around.
Yeah.
But then there's the key to that cabinet too with the weapons.
Yeah. So now which key did he throw out? Was it the key to the front door that he opened the door and just throws it out?
I think he pretended to throw it as well.
Yeah, and my thoughts are, okay, if the door's open, just push him out of the way and leave and just never look back.
Yeah. And that's at one point in the movie he said that he threw a fake key out and tucked one key, hit the real key in his vest.
Yeah.
and then one of the ladies stole the key from him while the lights were out, and that's how everything happened. That's how everything unfolded.
So it all came down to the butler, Wadsworth. I mean, he was kind of masterminding this whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Wadsworth was not an original character.
Right.
The original characters were Mr. Body, Colonel Mustard, Mrs. White, Professor Plum, and Mrs. Peacock. Mr. Green and Miss Scarlet. And then in 2008, Hasbro updated the board game and changed the character names to give them more modern persons, but basically the same thing. Instead of Mr. or Colonel Mustard, it's Jack Mustard, or Ms. Plum's now, or Mr. Plum's Victor Plum.
Yeah.
But it's the same concept.
Yeah.
Well, seeing the guy from Back to the Future, what's his name?
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd. Yeah, I thought, okay, he could be pretty entertaining. He's probably my least favorite character, though. I didn't think he had a whole lot to offer.
Yeah, his weird look didn't come over here. I mean, it's kind of the look he pulls off in Back to the Future, which made it successful. But
Right.
here it was just fell flat.
Didn't seem like he was having a great time.
Yeah, he just
He
kind
wasn't.
of
Didn't have.
he had that
energy.
one look, and that was it.
Yeah.
Almost, let's get through this, give me my paycheck, and
Yeah.
we'll call it a day.
Yeah. Oh, which surprised me because I like him in a lot of stuff, especially Back to the Future. I thought he hit home runs.
Right. Him and that compared to this just seemed like two totally
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
Now,
energies that he brought. Just,
I found this interesting about his character. You know, he indicates at dinner that he works for the World Health Organization, which is part of the United Nations
Mhm.
organization. So that means he works for you-know-who.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I completely missed.
yeah. You know who.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's turned into a cult classic. They've had some spots on, like, the TV series Psych, and did some Comic-Con stuff. They do some Broadway stuff and art house theater stuff.
you wonder how it would be in a theater setting. That might be a better.
Yeah, because it would be fun because you could jump back and forth in the acts and do a little bit more with it. Where movies, you got to continuously roll and I think link them up better, transition better. But in theater, you don't have to do that necessarily.
Yeah.
You have a little more leeway.
Yeah, so I could see it definitely being a better theater work than a movie work. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I had a hard time watching it. I split it up over a couple days.
Yeah, it wasn't. I watched it in one setting, but it wasn't a. I can see why people consider it a cult classic, but I can also see why it didn't take off.
Yeah, I mean, it has its own nuances.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Justin. Christopher Lloyd was by far the worst actor in the deal,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
for him being as well renowned actor as he
Yeah.
is, this one isn't one to hang his hat on.
Maybe he didn't get paid enough. He was just salty about it the whole time. Like,
Maybe something was going on, but like Tim Curry as Wadsworth, I thought he carried it.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
If he hadn't have done the job he did,
Mhm.
it'd have been a whole different story.
Yep.
And even like the maid with Colleen Camp, she was the bombshell, but she did an okay job, nothing outstanding.
Right.
And then
She had some sort of accent.
Yeah.
Spoke in broken English.
I think Mark Mall did a pretty good job as well.
Who's that?
Colonel Mustard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had some funny lines, I thought.
yeah. It was weird though because they all spent a considerable amount of time just standing around
Yeah.
while they kind of had the dialogue, and that's what I think. Christopher Lloyd, you're right, Justin. He just didn't look engaged, and I think Colonel Mustard didn't look engaged some of the time, but not terribly.
Not as bad as.
Not as bad. Not necessarily noticeable.
Right.
Miss
Um,
Peacock, she was just always kind of freaking out about stuff.
Yeah, I mean, her main line was a scream.
Yeah. And looking down on people. But
Yeah.
she has just as much dirt as everyone else. But she
Yeah,
is in
yeah, I
denial.
agree.
I think she's better. Yeah, I thought Mr. Body, not my favorite character. It's good to see him get knocked out.
Yeah,
early
yeah.
on.
Yeah, I think the movie kind of actually picked up once they ousted him right at the beginning. Once they finally bounced him out, it seemed to pick up a little better pace.
Yeah, and it just didn't seem to make much sense until that happened. Because they sat down for dinner and had weird conversation that you would know would never happen in real life.
Well, and their dinner choices too. The meal choice was just completely weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just weird. I mean, who would walk into that situation and not immediately start conversations to start feeling other people out? And then, the one lady, Miss Peacock's like, well, I guess I'll be the one to, But I'm like, that had happened way before sitting down for a meal.
There was a bit of a gag with like sipping soup.
Yeah. Yeah, which I was like, oh. That kind of set the tone for what kind of movie this is going to be. It's like, man, really?
Well, in Mr. Body, the lights went out and then they turned it back on and he was dead. Everyone was in the room. Was that how that went?
Yeah.
Yeah, the gunshot goes off and they think he's dead.
But the gunshot missed him, maybe?
Yeah.
Hit the wall. And
The funny part was the psychiatrist was checking his vitals, which is, I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I'm pretty sure they're not schooled in, like, physical medicine.
Right.
But anyway. And then they were all upset that he made a mistake. I'm like, really?
Professor Plum.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the cook, she gets stabbed.
Yeah, what the heck is that all about? Cook's just minding her own business. Gets stabbed.
She must have seen something she shouldn't
She's
have.
got to go.
Yep.
Oh, man.
That actually surprised me because, like I said, like, why would we draw the cook into this? But, I mean, they tied it together at the end. But
Right.
at the time, I was like, just killing people to kill them.
Yeah, because that's what I first thought. I was like, now you're just stacking bodies just for bragging rights, basically.
And the telegram girl.
But that was one of the highlights, was the fact that the actual mystery part of it was hard to figure out.
Yes.
Like, I didn't even come close to any of those scenarios.
No.
And, well, about halfway through, they was doing such a good job as not even throwing any hints to who it was. I was like, I'm just going to sit and enjoy it. I don't care. I'm not even going to try to figure it out. I'm just going to try to just watch and see.
I fought my way through this much of it, so I might as well just relax and try to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
understand.
and at the end, I mean, this was essentially some sort of like sting operation to
Yeah.
set people up for murder and,
Yeah.
and arrest them.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem very ethical.
I know.
5 people
We're going to wait until 6 people are dead, then we're going to try to solve it for real.
The chief comes in.
But I like how they pretty much summarized the reason why everybody was there. Everybody had a dark secret in their personal life as the reason they was being there. It wasn't just sheer coincidence that these people were there. There was actually a reason why they was there.
And I want to be a smart aleck and say that reason is to pull off a rough movie of a board game.
Mediocre film.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they didn't even know why they were there.
Well, obviously Christopher Lloyd didn't.
Yeah. That poor
He
fella.
was sleep deprived or something on set.
He's like, I went from which one came out first? I wonder, Back to the Future. Or this one?
I think this one came out first.
Yeah, because I think Back to the Future is '88.
A little bit younger, but it could just be.
Yeah,
I don't know if
movie.
that's-
Yeah.
No, wait a minute.
I mean,
85. Okay, wait a minute. It came out in 85 as well, so let me see
really?
which came first.
I mean, they had like Madonna was trying to get one of the parts, and Carrie Fisher, which is ironic. I read that Carrie Fisher went into rehab, and then the lady that got the part came out of rehab. They just kind of traded places, essentially.
Yeah, and I saw where Yvette, the maid, to get her part, she just walked in
In a minute.
in the maid uniform, and that pretty much just said, "Yep, you've got it." Because
Yeah.
wasn't she the one that they were trying to get for Madonna?
Yeah, that's the Madonna wanted. Everybody kind of wanted that role. Demi Moore. So interesting.
Okay, Back to the Future hit theaters on July 3rd, 1985. Clue came out on December 13th in 1985.
So this was after them.
Yes.
Boy, he really skunked it up.
Well, this is another Shawshank Redemption to Howard the Duck transition.
Yeah, maybe he. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say for him. Poor fella. Anyway, jeez. So, lots of little fun tidbits. They had another ending where Tim Curry, the butler, Wadsworth, committed all the murders. That actually, so they had a book. Paramount Pictures presents Clue, the storybook. That had some additional information in it. The game, of course, is popular in North America. It goes by Clue. In England, where musician Anthony Pratt invented the game in 1944, it's called Cluedo, pronounced Cluedo, meaning clue, and the Latin term ludo, meaning play. So I played clues.
Okay, so that makes sense because when I was looking up the characters, one of the websites referred to as Cluedo. I was like, now wait a minute, that can't be right. There's something. So that makes sense then what
Yeah, that's
Cluedo
the
is.
European version. And he originally wanted to call it Murder, but they changed
Oh yeah, that
it
would
to
have flew
Cluedo.
off the shelves.
Yeah.
Considering back in the 80s, yeah, that would have really flew off the shelves.
Now, they had another board game turned film, and it was called Battleship from 2012.
Yes.
Also a flop.
Yeah. Yeah. Video games and board games are a hard thing to
Yeah.
convert. Okay, so Justin, we was talking about Super Mario Brothers.
I would say comic books are hard to convert as well. Howard the Duck.
I can counter that with Spider-Man. No, I think the worst comic book movie ever made was any of the Hulk movies, and I love the Hulk.
Huh.
Incredible Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those. Okay, so apparently they're redoing the Super Mario Brothers movie, supposed to release next year.
Oh, jeez. The first one wasn't bad enough. They got to try to redo it.
Yeah. Okay, so here's how bad this one is. The original, released in 1993. On Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter is 24%. Audience score 29%. So I think this. I mean, yeah, this to my list. Let's
Room-
just see if we can lower the bar. Even
Yeah,
lower than Howard the
there's
Duck.
so much room for improvement. Why not? Right? Is that what we're going for?
No, I'm thinking. Let's see if I can lower the bar even lower than Howard the Duck.
Down into the middle of the earth.
Yeah. Let's just see how much further we can dig this hole.
Oh gosh.
Let me run down the ending real quick, see if this jogs your guys' memory. 'cause
Okay.
For me, I totally didn't remember some of this stuff. Professor Plum, this is the real ending at the very end, murders Mr. Body. Mrs. Peacock kills the cook. Colonel Mustard kills the motorist because he was his driver during the war and knew he was a war profiteer. I remember that part now.
Yeah.
Miss Scarlet kills the cop because she's been bribing him to let her keep running the brothel. Mrs. White kills Yvette because she had an affair with her husband. Wadsworth kills the singing telegram girl who had an affair with Professor Plum because she's one more informant. And then at the very end, Wadsworth gets shot, which I kind of forgot. But Mr. Green shoots Wadsworth. Do you remember that book?
Yeah, because he's a federal agent.
Yeah.
Right. So that's
He sharp shoots him.
Yeah.
Shoots a gun out of his hand and ricochets it into his.
So, do you have the other
Chest.
two endings? Were you able to find those?
Yeah, they're here as well.
So that way people can hear all three endings.
Yeah, that's what people need.
This will keep them.
It'll
Keep
keep
them
you,
listening.
keep you entertained.
Yeah, on the edge of your seat.
You can have
The other
all-
ones aren't quite in.
It's
You know,
impressive.
I kind of
easy
relate that to
list.
like, here's some cough medicine. Now take 2 more swigs. Just like, what? What happened in the first one? Time out. You got a sharpshooter. A guy could have prevented all 6 murders, but just didn't. Good times.
Yeah, it says the one lady killed the cook because she used to be her cook, Mrs.
Yeah.
Peacock.
Yeah.
That's the reason to murder someone.
Yeah.
She used to be her cook.
So based on that logic, Dave, you know, you're always against people doing drugs, but this is one of those do drugs then watch this movie might actually make sense.
I mean, you might have to do something serious like drop some LSD to get some sense out of this world. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not a Howard the Duck level, but it's...
I gonna say just based off.
I don't care if I ever even see like anything related to this movie again. I don't need any reminder that I watched this.
So if Justin and I get like find online that there's a movie edition of the Clue board game, you wouldn't want to come in your office one day and find it sitting on your desk?
Not a chance.
Well, Justin, there goes our Christmas gift.
Yeah, definitely not a rewatch for me.
No.
I'm not going to rewatch it anytime soon.
Not horrible, but definitely not worth a rewatch.
And it's like we were talking about the movie Airplane earlier, and so Joe, you've seen it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and Justin has not, and you were telling him about it. You know, those have like iconic, classic bits to it. You know, jokes. Where Clue kind of just replays old ones that aren't that funny to begin with, maybe. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know, like in Airplane, we're like, hey, Shirley, and like, don't call me Shirley. You know, it's one of those things that it's kind of timeless.
Yeah.
But I don't recall a single joke in Clue that was in that category of a timeless joke. You know, like opening the door and the ironing board hitting him in the head.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Three Stooges type comedy. But you got to be a Three Stooge to pull that off. The funny part to me now is that you're laughing about it, Justin.
Yeah.
So maybe you found it funny?
Well, I mean, compared to everything else, it's like a little bit of a ray of sunshine that came through for a second.
So comparatively,
Brought me out
yes,
of
that was funny.
my funk. Yep. Yeah, most stuff was eye rolling stuff, though.
Yeah.
For the most part. Thought they played into the whole cleavage gag a little bit too much. I mean,
Oh gosh.
like the guys were like staring like
Yeah.
crazy and drooling, basically.
That's what I mean. And they have it running back and forth in the inner dress, and then the maid, of course, is playing it up. I'm like, ah, boy.
Here we go, gentlemen. The Clue movie poster, 11 by 17, $9.98 plus free shipping on eBay right now. So how many do you want?
Could use a.
You know, there are days
Firestarter.
when I wish they could pick up the look I'm giving you, Joe, just because. I'm like, really?
Yeah, if looks could kill, I would be knocking on death's door right now just by the look they
I'm
gave
just
me.
saying, if you order a movie poster of Clue, and we'll come by and steal it the day it's delivered and just throw it away for you. So that would be $9.99 thrown away.
Yeah, because I think I could have got a Howard the Duck one for $5.
Oh,
That was a much better
jeez.
deal.
Ugh. So do you think Madonna, Demi Moore, or Jennifer Jason Leigh would have made Yvette the maid better?
I don't think so.
I mean, those are big names.
Oh, I know. Other than giving the movie a little more credibility, that's the only thing I see bringing to the table.
Yeah, I agree.
Although I do have to admit, Madonna was pretty good in Dick Tracy.
I haven't seen that
You
one.
have not seen that one? Wow.
No.
Now that one is a good one. That was back in the 90s.
Here's what I'm pleased about. Justin's next pick is a home run.
Yes, so do we want to...
We were discussing it before this show, and
Yeah, folks want to.
I'm excited, but I'm ready to get past Clue and get on to the next one.
Ford versus Ferrari for those that want to
Yeah.
watch ahead of time and follow along with us.
Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah, I have not seen...
Yeah, it's
Ford
been a while
versus
since
Ferrari.
had some a Matt Damon flick. I saw The Martian. I thought that was pretty good.
Oh
It was
yeah,
entertaining,
The
so-
Martian was really good.
And yeah, he's able to carry a movie
He's
totally on his shoulders.
I tell you, yeah, he's got to be one of the iconic actors of our time.
Yeah, crazy.
He started out doing some behind the scenes, and then hit a home run with Good Will Hunting, and then it's just been carrying it.
Yeah, Good Will Hunting for me is like a mop bucket movie. That's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, easily.
You got to see that one sometime, Joe.
Now, what one is it?
Good Will Hunting with
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams, Ben
Okay,
Affleck,
yeah, I'm a-
Casey Affleck.
I love Robin Williams.
Robin Williams plays a completely different character, and he's a psychiatrist.
Now,
It's knock your socks off good.
the one movie... Because I've always heard good things about...
I can't believe you haven't seen it.
I know, me too. The only movie I've been disappointed so far in Robin Williams is Dead Poets Society.
What?
Didn't like
What?
that.
And let me give you a little backstory. So in high school, there was one semesters they had where, and Justin, now you probably remember this, where like if you had a high
What?
enough grade in the class, you didn't have to take your finals, so they would do like movies during finals week. Like if you didn't have to take the final in that class, you'd go to the auditorium and
Yeah.
watch a movie. Well, they had a stack of movies, and they said, and they was going through there, and they said, now, Dead Poet Society stars Robin Williams, and it's great. If you love Mrs. Doubtfire, you'll love Dead Poet Society.
Oh no, not even close to the Miss
So
Doubtfire.
yes, I was all excited. It's like, yeah, let's do that, and turn it on. It's like, because I had hopes of being.
It's a serious movie. It's a
Yeah.
drama.
It's like it had nothing to do. It wasn't even relatively close to being as comical as Mrs. Doubtfire.
No,
Like,
it's not a funny movie at all.
This is garbage. This is Phil. This is no.
It has Ethan Hawke in it, who did a great job, but
So-
he was young.
So that's why I've had to stink on Dead Poet Society all these years. It's just like I was ruined on it because I was.
Misled.
Yeah, I was
I-
led to water and then told it was prune juice.
But Dead Poet Society. Oh man, what a movie!
Now, did you guys ever see 1 Hour Photo?
Yeah,
I
Love
think
it.
so. I think so.
Now that is one of those that is completely out of
yeah,
Robin Williams' wheelhouse, but it still knocked it out of the
yeah.
park.
Pulled it off. Well, I think as we can see by his life and his suicide, he could go to dark places.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, we lost a lot of magic there.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Kind of a shame, but yeah, Dead Poet Society, home run. My gosh. All right. Anyway, back to this slop bucket.
Oh wow!
Clue.
Yeah, I gotta go burn on this one. I can't quite bring myself to go small, but there are a couple kernels that aren't charred in there, but I gotta go burn.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, it's not Howard the Duck. So I mean, just for the neat factor or the nostalgia type deal, maybe a small. But
Because I don't mind silly, that's fine, but to me it missed the mark too much in order for me to have a good time with it.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe not fully burnt for me, like between small and burnt,
Right.
because it's not Howard the Duck. I mean, they other than Christopher Lloyd, I felt like they did put in some effort and really. Now, I'm gonna go with small because Wadsworth pulled his weight.
Fair enough.
It. Yeah, I mean, man, what a tough deal.
Yeah, I could almost go small, but I'm gonna stick with
Yeah,
that.
I'm going with small.
Joe, what
I
do you
changed
think?
my mind.
I'm going to go with small. Was I entertained? Yes. Could I have been entertained more? Absolutely. Was it like this is garbage? And I suffered through all of it? Not really. I mean, there was a couple times it's like, okay, am I getting close to the end? But I mean, it wasn't like this is Phil. I wasn't like trying to pull my eyes out of my sockets because I had to sit
Right.
and suffer through it.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go with small.
Okay.
And I can see that because they did have some explosions for you, Joe. A couple of gunshots, some action with the murder, a little bit of running around. The house was really neat. I really like the house and
Yeah, I wonder-
kind of how it was decorated out and
Did
how.
they build parts of that? Or
Oh, I'm sure because
Yeah.
it matched the board game.
The entire house was a set except for the
Oh,
ballroom.
wow.
The ballroom itself was actually shot on location at a mansion in Pasadena, California.
And the one thing I did not like was they kept shooting the chandeliers, and they would mysteriously had rope that come untangled and broke. I was like, really?
A suspenseful moment.
No,
That
no,
was gonna
yeah,
fall on somebody.
just yeah.
I'm telling you guys, Mel Brooks needs to pick this movie up, and it will be a movie.
It might take more magic than what Mel Brooks has. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know
It'd be a toss up.
the way he.
I'm not willing to watch a second Clue to find out.
Okay, so even if Mel Brooks took over,
I would not care.
really,
That's why I almost burnt.
I would. I'm holding out hope that Mel Brooks finds this and just picks it up and polishes up and.
I've seen and heard enough. Holy smokes. It's crazy. And I got to say, I'm excited to get on to Ford versus Ferrari. Really excited.
Yeah, I'm big fans of both the main actors.
Matt Damon, Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both.
Then the sub characters do a great job.
Mhm.
So yeah. Have you guys seen, Joe, have you seen it before?
Well, Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
No.
And then
Nope.
neither one of you. Okay, so I have seen it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
So don't let me influence you though. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm not afraid to give it a burn.
Yeah. Oh,
I'll
yeah.
hit a burnout if that's what I'm feeling.
Believe me,
But,
this was a well justified burn. Don't let me. Don't let me try to talk you out of it. I mean, I was close. I feel a little guilty because I did enjoy, Wadsworth, and I did enjoy him jerking people around as slapstick silly as it was.
Uh-huh.
And I think part of my going with a small is because of the nostalgia to the board game.
Yeah.
I did like the board game, and this kind of, the shortcuts.
They attempted it. They've been.
Yeah, the hidden passageways. That was kind of like, oh yeah, and having the different items, the candlestick, the wrench. I was kind of like, that's pretty cool. So I could see the cult classic in it.
Uh-huh.
Now the acting, yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. I mean, and kind of like the stupid jokes. They weren't like iconic stupid jokes. So therefore, that part fell really flat.
Yeah, Dave just doesn't want to admit it, but he was really entertained with the dog poop part.
Yeah.
That was kind of like a little clue in the beginning that I was like, oh yeah, okay, not a Butler.
I
But
think it might have helped if I'd have played a lot of Clue and was really into that game. That might make
I think it would have.
make it a little more
But
of a connection.
we're
for
here
me.
for why it's a movie. If we were doing cult classics as our kind of theme, it'd be a different deal. Then I'd be like, yeah, this is one of those that's a cult classic, and yeah, therefore it gets a better rating. But we're reviewing movies,
Yeah.
and as a movie, this one's in the pooper.
So to the bargain bin it goes, is what you're saying, Dave?
I don't. You just throw it away. I mean, if you were a big Clue player, if you have fond memories of Clue back in your day,
Right.
you're like, yeah, I love that game to death, then yeah, watch it. It's worth one watch. It'll bring back a little bit of that nostalgia.
Mhm.
But if you're watching it as a movie to watch and be entertained, then no, don't watch it. Don't waste your time.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, so only watch it if you're trying to get back a little bit of the Clue nostalgia. So that's how it earned its way into a small for
I
me.
will say I'm shocked because I was not surprised with Justin's burnt.
Yeah.
Just the way we've talked.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually surprised, Dave, that you actually gave it a small. Cause I figured just the way you reacted as soon as the show started, I was like, yep, definite burnt popcorn. I was still at the beginning. I was unsure where Justin fell on the mark, but I was like, yeah, Dave's definite burnt popcorn. So both you guys surprised me, so I'm impressed.
Yeah, and again, mine's based off of nostalgia, so different.
It's not unwatchable. I will say that.
Yeah, it's not like
I
as
don't wanna
painful
say
as
this.
Howard the Duck. Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Howard the Duck and Tim Robbins. Holy cow!
Yeah, Leah Thompson
Or Leah Thompson. That's
Yeah.
what I meant. Yeah.
yeah.
Holy cow! Yeah, it wasn't that bad. That's why it escaped a burnt because it wasn't
Yeah.
that bad.
So now, since I went off of Bobby's list,
Yeah, Bobby's
The-
fired.
okay, so Bobby, you heard it here first. You're fired, buddy. I'm sorry. So I was gonna say now, just
He-
because I'm using Bobby as my scapegoat, does that ban me from any further picks or?
No,
Okay. Okay.
You got to have some burns in order to see the the mops.
Enjoy the good ones. Okay.
Yeah. I think, I'm excited for this coming week, especially since you two haven't seen it, which makes it really hard for me because I want to talk about it now
Right.
because I have seen it, but man, I gotta wait, so I'll wait. Okay. Well, we've let's see where we're at here. Yeah, we're at 53 minutes.
Not bad.
I can't believe we squeaked an hour out of Clue, but it is a mystery.
Well, now we did squeak an hour out of Howard the Duck, but I think 45-0 was
gosh.
just you just
Bashing
raking
it.
it over the coals.
Yeah.
Which,
so-
in my opinion, I think that was our most entertaining episode. If anybody actually goes back and listens to that, you don't have to watch the movie. Just sit and listen. Dave just rake me over the coals for 45 minutes. I guaranteed you will be entertained.
Oh, you deserved it.
Oh,
I'm just gonna say here, I have yet to pick a bad movie. By you two clowns, oh my gosh.
now time out. You picked Mad Max too, so I'm putting that one.
That's
you.
not true. I just said if we are gonna watch Mad Max, we might as well watch the best
So
one.
see, you're still not taking the full blame on that. I owned up to Howard the Duck,
That was definitely 100% you.
but
I followed up with Mad Max because we had to see the good Mad Max.
But
Right.
oh yeah, that was the good Mad Max.
Out of the Mad Maxes, yes.
So Justin leads us down the path of Mad Max, and then Dave goes, "Yeah, let's just hit the
Yeah,
gas
you
and
know,
keep going further." It
If
has
you're
to
gonna
open up
watch
at the
one,
end.
the one, it has to be that one.
That's like a gunshot wound, Dave. Yeah, you got shot once, so you had to get shot again. Maybe that'll heal it.
Maybe.
It doesn't make sense.
Oh, in my world, it does.
Any new updates on our listeners out there? We still got our Australian listeners.
Yeah, let me pull up
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Joe, and we gotta go. You gotta go over all our stuff, so you can tie
Yeah,
that all together there as you go
We
through
can
and
talk
look at
off
our.
mic how much money we're raking in.
Yeah,
Last time we
Yeah,
talked,
oodles
it
and
was-
oodles of
let's
sense
just
here,
say-
guys.
Yeah.
we're our budget for replacing any items in the studio here, or anything along those lines, is like a whole nickel.
Let's put it this way: in 6 months, we'll be able to buy a movie out of the bargain bin.
All right.
Really,
Yeah,
I'm
give it
impressed.
6 months.
I
yeah.
figured it'd be longer than 6 months.
All right, so our listeners, we still have to our loyal Australian listeners. Thank you very much, and we're actually getting listeners out of the Czech Republic as well. So shout out to our fans in the Czech Republic as well. So
Neat. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we're rocking it.
yeah, I can find out. So in the New South Wales part of Australia. So shout out to you guys. And
How do you guys feel about movies with subtitles in different languages? Hate them? Love them? Indifferent?
It doesn't bother me.
doesn't bother
Okay.
me.
I'm a good reader.
All right.
Now hold on, are the subtitles in English?
Yeah.
Good point. Really good point. If I got to read lips and try to ignore, subtitles I can't read, then yeah, we might have a problem.
Because I can just see you just going down this path of Justice sitting back and laughing like, I got the guys on this one. They have no idea. That'd be a good gotcha.
Yeah.
Complete blindside, had no idea it's coming.
People speaking in German and Japanese subtitles.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Just wow. Well, Joe, if anybody had any questions or anything, or assuming they're listening to our podcast, they want to check out our website and stuff, how do they get there?
Yeah, check out our website at beentherewatchthat.com and send us your suggestions or comments or questions.
Please help Joe out with his list. Please.
So be sure to send us all your movie requests or your thoughts on the movie. Did we hit the mark on Clue, or was we completely off and just completely oblivious to the nostalgia and great classic that many people claim Clue is? So check us out on beentherewatchthat.com. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at BTWT Pod for all that. And the podcast is hosted by Anchor.fm.
Yeah. All right. Well, gentlemen, it has been an hour. Yeah, we've covered Clue. Whew. I feel like I played the board game, except had a worse experience because somebody was cheating. I don't know. Anyway, Justin, roll us on out of here, buddy.
Alrighty. Next week, Ford versus Ferrari. So check that
Woohoo!
out. Follow along. Dave's pumped. He's ready to watch that one again. It'll be the first time for me, but I'm looking forward to it because I'm a Matt Damon fan and Christian Bale as well. So I'm probably watch that tonight.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll be back.
Excellent. You'll be better off for it.
I'm going to hold out skepticism.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's no Howard the Duck. I'll just say that.
Okay. Is there any explosions?
Yes.
Okay, then we're
So,
good.
it's about racing cars, so
Cars flipping.
gotta
over.
tear some stuff up. What kind of legitimate car movie would it be?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Been there, watch that.
Yeah, if you have time, give us a 5-star review if you're enjoying it, and that'll help with the algorithm and get us noticed
more-
on the podcast.
And get
polls.
more listeners, more viewers. And to all of our listeners, we thank you guys very much for your support.
Yeah, and give some feedback. We don't get enough feedback in these things
Yeah, so
across the board. Like, and usually if you do, it's negative. But, some feedback would be good.
yeah, and enlighten Dave on how some of these that Howard the Duck is not really all that bad.
Maybe we don't want that much feedback. All right.
All right, that wraps it up. We'll see you next week.